Welcome back to another episode of the Selective podcast. I'm your host, XR, and I hope you all are doing well on this fine morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever in the world you are listening to the pod. In light of Kanye Gap pieces being announced, we thought it would be a great time to rank our top Yeezy silhouettes of all time. Now, joining me on the pod, I have two Yeezy experts, or two people I would consider Yeezy experts. As you all know, as the host, I just like to facilitate conversations, so having these two bright minds on is going to help us out a lot. In this episode, like I mentioned, we're going to talk about our top three Yeezy silhouettes, and we're also going to talk about the Kanye Gap, the Yeezy Gap pieces, the one jacket that dropped, and then, of course, moving forward, what we think about the collaboration. So a lot to talk about this week on the pod. Joining us, we have Sean, the mastermind behind The Thinkings, the Instagram account, and he's also the mastermind behind our Instagram at Selective. Sean, how are you doing today, bro?
Doing good in you, XR.
Doing good, man. Glad that you're on here. We're recording bright and early, which means that it's midday in South Africa. I can see the South Africa sun beaming in the back. So while Corey and I here are getting the crusty boogers out of our eyes, you've been awake for some time. So
Yeah.
Speaking of Corey, bro, thanks for joining us on the pod again, man. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Good. How are you?
Good.
Woke up very early. Same with you. So yeah, still getting the crust out of my eyes, like you said.
Dude, I have like Corey and I are drinking coffee, and this is like the earliest I've ever recorded the podcast. So to the audience, excuse me if my voice is a little raspier than usual, but we're gonna make it through. Guys, for this pod, as I mentioned, we're gonna be talking about Yeezy, Kanye Gap. Before we talk about our top Yeezy silhouettes, we have to talk about Kanye Gap. We got our first glimpse of the first piece that came out. It was a jacket reminiscent of a bomber jacket made with recycled nylon, cropped on the body, a baby blue colorway. We'll start off with Sean. Sean, what did you think of the jacket initially?
Man, when I first saw Kanye wearing those Nikes in those paparazzi photos, I had a feeling that was going to be one of the first pieces to release because it looked like a finished product. And the color is very bold. And I'm not normally a fan of light blue, but I really like this one. Maybe it's biased towards Yeezy and Kanye. But I really like the fact that it's upcycled nylon and that it's like almost a baggy fit. I'm not too sure what the smalls look like because Kanye seemed to be wearing an XL, I'd imagine. So even me personally, I got a large.
Yeah, I ended up copying. I got an XO too. I'm interested to see how the fit is, just because the silhouette is so interesting. Corey, from someone like yourself who like appreciates the nuances with design, right? With how garments flow on the body. I mean, you're the Hyder fan, so we have to say that. I mean, what were your impressions on the jacket?
So what's weird is that the pictures I saw on the website, I actually thought it looked really weird. I thought it looked almost like a trash bag, but on Kanye, I think it looks really sick. The actual fit, it reminds me a lot of like an M69 flak vest or like the infamous Helmut Lang flak jacket. Just like based on the kind of the way that the like, how do I say it? Like the bottom, like the hem, the kind of curved hem, as well as the I guess somewhat like baggy fit. The design to me is actually very reminiscent, and like the fit overall based on Kanye, it's very reminiscent of the infamous flak jacket, which if you're not familiar with, it was worn by some people like Fernando Rangel, Travis Scott, and others. So yeah, I don't know. That's just what my first impression of the jacket was. I do think the materials are quite interesting. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of extremely shiny materials like nylon because I think that especially with in some colors like black, this is just a kind of unrelated, but it's why I've never liked Moncler jackets because the reflectiveness and the shininess of the puffer, it reminds me, just to be blunt, it reminds me of a trash bag.
Yeah, and I think that some of the correlations that people have made is a little bit reminiscent of a trash bag. I think it was really bold to go with a baby blue as the first colorway. He could have come out with like something Yeezy-esque, a like a sand or like a black or like a muted tone, and he didn't. So I think the nylon, like Sean said, I'm super stoked with the upcycled nylon, man. I mean, any opportunities that designers get to recycle materials, I'm all on board with. But Sean, from my understanding, there are other colorways in the works. I know you've teased on the Thinkings a red colorway. What do you know about other potential colorways of this particular jacket?
The black colorway, which has already been given out to some people. I can't remember the girl's name, but she has one, and Kanye's been spotted in it with Bari. So
Hmm.
I yeah, I honestly, if the black had come out first, I think I would have copped the black over the blue. But just because it was the first piece,
Yeah.
I felt like I needed to grab in the collection. Kind of going back to the cut, I like the way that it's like cropped. Um, and at the bottom, I don't know. It's I don't know if it like buttons up or not, and maybe you all can answer that. But
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. It looks, from what I can tell, it doesn't look like it has a closure, which is a bit odd to me because it's a jacket. So it kind of seems like, especially because it does look like a puffer, right? And I feel like with a puffer, you generally wear in colder weather. So to not have any kind of closure, like a zipper or even like buttons or like a hook and closure, it seems a little bit odd. But we'll have to see when actually like we finally can see it in hand or whatever.
yeah, Sean, do you know if it has any closure on it from you seeing?
I don't think it has any closure. I did see some people thinking there was like magnets or something in like big seam that it has, but I
Mm.
really doubt that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting silhouette. I like I mentioned, I really like just like the cut of it. The color wasn't just an interesting choice off the rip to go with the baby blue. But this was a US exclusive, and pre-orders did close 2 days ago on the 15th, I believe. So, Sean, I actually proxied the jacket for you because it was a US exclusive. So, um,
Yes.
I wonder if the resale is going to be any good because it was a US exclusive. I don't know. Do you have any friends overseas, Sean, that like just literally just straight up couldn't get the jacket?
I also know a few people that did proxy as well. Um, but I think the resale wise, I'm really unsure because I think the pre-orders only closed like 2 days ago, literally yesterday. So there's going to be a lot of them out there. So, but I think there will definitely be a demand for it, like in Asia.
Yeah.
So there's definitely people that either proxied or couldn't get their hands on it, and are definitely going to pay sell prices for them.
I agree. Corey, for resale, do you think that this particular piece will do well, or do you think it's going to be more of a collector's item down the line? I just feel like as the first Kanye Gap piece, it's one of those pieces where we're going to look back and say, like, this was the first one of the partnership, kind of like how we see, I don't know, the like the 750s. I just feel
Right.
like they might hold that status down the line, but maybe not. I don't know if you agree with that point.
I think it's very hard to say just because we don't necessarily know the exact availability of this piece in the future because we have seen with certain items and we've seen in interviews where Kanye talks like, oh, I want to sell Yeezys for $50 for everyone, or I want to have like Yeezys available. If you want a pair of Yeezys, you can get a pair of Yeezys, right? He's been definitely, I think, working and achieving that goal, especially with like how many times, look at like the Zebra 350s, how many times those have restocked, right? It's like they're on the like fifth or sixth restock now or something like that.
Right.
Same with the Bread V2s. And then like the foam runners. Anyways, with Yeezy Gap, I assume it's meant to become a kind of mass market collab, and I feel like this is kind of them testing the waters first and kind of releasing a first item. So I'm not exactly sure about how the availability of this jacket will be in the future. If it becomes more available worldwide, then definitely it's going to kill resell. It depends. If it stays this kind of US exclusive, then I think there will be a resell. And also kind of just to go back, we were talking about colors. I actually kind of have a theory about the colors that will be released. So I think like a few months ago, there was actually a leak. It was 4 hoodies posted from the Yeezy Gap Lab, and it was like a dark brownish gray, a kind of like slate gray, that kind of baby blue, and a red. And it kind of just made me think like, I feel like these might be the colors that we get for the puffer. I feel like maybe he's going to do all these colors again for the puffer because the blue, he wore that kind of same color of blue hoodie before. So I don't know. I think we might keep on seeing that. And actually, the Yeezy Gap hoodies I've seen, based on the like what I can see, they look very similar to the 2020 the Lavender Vision hoodie. So I think if you're a fan of that hoodie, this might be your opportunity to get something very similar.
Yeah, the Vision hoodie. I have a friend of mine who has that hoodie. Super heavy, super well made, and just a nice hoodie. I really hope that he releases a similar cut or silhouette in the future. I really like that piece. So I guess time will tell with Yeezy Gap. In my opinion, just like the cut of the jacket is like a little bit more like fashion forward. In my opinion, like I just
for sure
I just like it. I think it's a little more experimental, and I'm down with that.
For sure.
But getting into the meat of the podcast, guys, our favorite Yeezy silhouettes. This was a hard list to narrow it down to. Um, Going back all the way from 2013 to now, a lot of Yeezys have come out. Arguably, maybe too many Yeezys have come out.
Definitely.
um, we'll start off with Sean. Sean, your top 3 favorite Yeezys. Let's start with number 3. What do you got on the list for us?
And Desert Boot Rock and the new Top Blue. Those are my favorite of those.
Really?
Sure. Yeah, I really like that blue. It really stands out because, I mean, even with all the new Kanye blue and everything that's happening, he's been wearing them a lot as well.
Sorry,
So
which sneaker?
the Desert Boot
Oh,
blue.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, those
The
are so fresh.
the blue on the desert boot, it looks like he kind of like dipped it in it looks like it was like dipped in like a I'm thinking like a pool of paint. It was just kind of like dipped halfway
Oh
down
yeah,
and then
Mm.
pulled back up. I think it's a
Oh,
cool shoe.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's a cool shoe. I don't know. I feel like it's so out there though, Sean, you know?
yeah, yeah. But I mean, if you don't like that, you can always go with the rock color, which is my favorite.
Yeah, the rock color is just like the simple. It's just it
Yeah.
has no blue. It's just like the simple full on like beige
Yeah.
colorway.
There's also the salt, right? And the oil, which are like more very Yeezy-esque neutral color.
Right. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I out of the pair, I like the rock and the salt the most, but the blue is really nice. I think it's like a really good statement piece. I actually
Yeah.
haven't seen that many people rock these, Sean. Have you seen any?
I've seen a few. I've
have?
seen a few people. Yeah.
I've only seen ASAP Bari, Emily Ratajkowski, and Kanye wear them.
I've seen a few people in New York rocking them. Just random people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a good. It's a good boot. I actually like when Kanye creates boots. I think it's
For sure.
I think it's just really elevated and it looks
Oh,
really
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't complain about that.
Yeah.
For me, if I were to pick a Kanye boot from my top 3, I'm gonna have to throw it back to the 950 Moonrock.
Yo, I was gonna say 950 Moonrocks are actually they were on my list, like in the like top 10, basically.
Dude, okay. So when he started making shoes, it was like the 750, right? And
Mhm.
I think we got a taste of like what the silhouettes would look like in the future. A little bit less sneakerhead ish, and a little bit more like elevated, if you will. This is like
Yeah.
what 2014. I was like I just graduated high school, I think. So I remember when the 950 was revealed. I was like, holy shit, man, this is not a sneaker, you know? And
Yeah,
this
it's
is
a
like
boot.
it's a boot. And this is like the first I don't know, the first time I was introduced to like a boot in a different format, because I was always used to just sneakers. And I feel like the boot wave can be credited, the boot wave that's still going on today, it has roots with Kanye West.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's
Yeah.
people who bought like Rothko combat boots because they were really similar to the Yeezy Season 3 and Season 4 boots.
I did that.
I know. Hey, I was actually thinking of buying a pair myself back in the day, but I never ended up buying one because I was like, for whatever reason, I don't even remember. But yeah,
Dude, I had a pair of like Rothko combat boots because they look like the 950s. Kind of. I mean, not really, but I saw a picture of Kanye.
Yeah.
Kanye, he actually wore the Rothko boots. There's a few photos of him out there.
Oh yeah,
wearing
you're
them.
right. Yeah, he was wearing. I think he wore them with like a pair of gray, either Acne jeans or DO2s. Can't really tell because his frame is like a bit odd. So
Yeah.
skinny jeans look wider. Anyways, and then he wore a Hyder Ackerman dual layer hoodie as well, like a zip up. I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
I believe in the picture he's holding North like in his arm.
You know the picture,
Yeah.
Sean?
Yeah. I have that picture.
It's an
Yeah.
iconic one. And I bought the Rothko boots off like Amazon, like not even, and they were actually good boots. Like
Yeah, they were like what, $50, right?
yeah, like 60, 70 bucks or something.
Yeah,
It
they're
was-
like really well priced.
yeah, really well priced, and I got a lot of wear out of them. So I have to give it to the 950 for in my number 3 spot, just because, you know, as you all know, like these days I just wear a lot of boots. I don't really wear a lot of sneakers, and I think that was like the first time I was introduced in a quote unquote hype way of boots in the
For
rotation.
sure.
It made me buy the Rothko boots, and then that kind of like influenced my kind of like my purchases on footwear from there on out. So Corey, what do you have on the list?
So for number 3, I think I put I'm actually I was kind of having an internal debate. I was either playing like the 750, the original 750, or the Louis Vuitton Kanye, the Dons and the Jaspers. I consider the Don Jasper very similar because
Those
one's
are
basically
so
the high
dope.
top version of the other. Uh, and I feel like it's hard to say. I feel like on one hand, the 750 was like it was it was like the first sneaker boot. Okay, it wasn't the first. I think the first sneaker boot I saw was like the Dunks.
It was
but
one of the
like
first though.
but yeah, it was like
Yeah.
really it was a popularizer for the hypebeast culture, and it was the beginning of this kind of new era for like the new age of sneakerheads. Like you know how back in the early 80s or late 80s and early 90s you had like the Jordan wave, then you had like in the early 2000s you had the skateboarder wave with the like SB Dunks,
Right.
and still there's a wave with like things like foam posits and whatever. I feel like the 750s and Adidas Yeezys kind of started a new wave for people of like Gen Z to start collecting sneakers, and and this is where it all began.
I know you're talking about, Corey, how like it got people into like this new wave or a new generation. I think T on the pod said a couple episodes ago that the 750 was like his. I mean, he loves that shoe. Like that was like his
Yeah.
first introduction to, maybe not his first, but I remember him saying like, he bought that shoe. He loved that shoe. That was like his first,
Yeah.
One of his first big purchases, if you will, into the fashion game. And I think the 750 like laid the groundwork for a lot of people.
T and I are pretty similar in age. So I mean, for me, it was the exact same thing. Like just coming out of like, was it going? Oh no, I think it was going from middle school to high school. It was like 750. I saw it for the first time. I was like, wow, that's so sick. I saw more with like sweatpants. I was like, this is like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And to me, it was an evolution of what you saw with the Nike Air Yeezy, and going from kind of like a sports silhouette to more of this fashion silhouette, right? For me with 750s, I have to go with OG, the original gray with the white.
Yes.
That's the best colorway to me.
Yes.
Although one thing, I've actually heard this from my friend who bought more like the other 750s. He told me that the comfort got better, and like with each new 750 release. So I think the last one they released was like the gray glow in the dark gum ones. And he said those ones are like the most comfortable, which is, I don't know if that's true because I've only owned the OG pair, but yeah.
That's interesting. Sean, you're even younger than us. So when the 750 was around that time, what were you doing? Do you remember that? Was that like your introduction, or did your introduction to Yeezy come way later?
Way later, like 350 stage.
Really?
That's when like Yeezy really blew up here.
Wow. So like for you didn't even, your introduction wasn't even at the 750 or even like the 950 later, right?
Oh man. Oh wait, 350s.
Damn, that's
especially
crazy.
like the V2s.
Yeah.
And
so that'd be
even
like 2017, right?
Yeah, and that everyone wanted that Mountain Dew puke colorway here.
Oh yeah, the fucking
everyone wanted it.
Like the descent of the 350s, like you can credit to a lot of different colorways. That one was pretty bad.
They were literally a McDonald's wrapper. I'm sorry, they were.
Yeah, no, they're pretty bad. So Sean, your next Yeezy, what do you got on the list?
So at number 2, I have 700 Wave Runners and the 700 V2 Statics. I can't decide between the two, but I'd probably pick the Statics.
Really?
Yeah. They like the ultimate dad shoe. I actually saw someone wearing them the other day and I was so jealous.
I like I think the colorway like exemplifies, if you will, like the ultimate dad shoe, right? It's like it almost looks like it looks like those, like a Monarch, kind of like an elevated Monarch, if you will, with like the white midsole and like the grays all around.
Yeah. The grays actually have like a New Balance, like a 990.
Right. Yeah. Right. Sean, why do you like the shoe though? I feel like this wouldn't like correlate with you.
What, the Statics?
Yeah, the Statics.
I don't know. I've always like, the second I saw, because my first favorite 700s were the Wave Runners. I mean, those are like pretty iconic now. But when I saw the Statics, I was like, I didn't like them at first actually. And then I started seeing like Kanye wearing them and how people were making them look like a dad shoe. And there was like some trend where like people were photographing their actual dads in like dad shoe.
That was like 2017, 2018 kind of time period when the chunky shoes were just like taking off. I mean, I remember like everybody was making chunky dad shoes, and like that was The Balenciaga Triple S.
Oh
which-
yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, that shoe has died, right? Like,
Yeah,
It's dead.
I still have a pair. It's trash. Don't ever buy them. Never. I would like.
that was, that was one of those trends where everyone was like, no, this is gonna stay. The dad shoe wave is gonna stay,
Dumbass trend.
and then it just didn't really stay. Like,
Yeah, it's only like so you have like chunky runners with like 700s and like 990s, but the overdone dad shoes like the triple S, the track
yeah,
runners.
right?
Get the shit out here. No, trash.
Yeah, Sean, are you still on the dad shoe wave, or is it kind of like, it's kind of passed a little bit?
I got the 500s recently, which is a bit of a chunky shoe, and I've been rocking those.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just like blending a chunky with like a slim silhouette. Like you said, like the triple S's were
Yeah.
just a little too over the top for some people, and I don't know.
I
it
think
just,
what killed the triple S for me was seeing like it was like Offset from the Migos wear like a pair of
Oh my God.
Amiris with triple S.
Sean,
Oof.
Sean, send me that photo so I can put it up on the pod. I know you have that. Photo.
My
dude,
cousin,
it's
right?
like
She was like she bought a pair of triple S because she was like, oh, like they make your legs look so skinny because they're so big, and I was like, what? Like, okay, sure, that's true, but also it looks like you look like you look like a horse. You have like hooves, but okay, yeah, go on.
Sean, you're not
Yeah.
not a fan of that photo.
no man, not at all.
Ass.
Isn't it the one with the ripped jeans and it makes
Yeah,
you
it was a pair of
Oh
ripped
my.
Amiris. They're patchwork Amiri jeans. I remember specifically which model Amiri jeans they were.
Dude, the
Because I owned
Amiri,
that
the
pair.
Amiri jeans, bro. Oh my god.
I think I remember when that photo came out and everyone was clowning that shoe.
Yeah.
Everyone started selling their shoe.
Moving on to my second. My first was obviously the 950 Moonrock. I'm actually gonna go. Might be a little controversial. The Yeezy 450 Cloud White.
Yo, I actually like those.
Dude.
I hated those at first. I thought they looked like a dumpling. I thought they looked like a dumpling.
they look like I could eat them. Like I could boil
Yeah,
them
they
and
look
eat
like
'em.
they look like a
Yeah.
dumpling.
So when this came out, I remember the shoe was kind of clowned on, right? I think they started circulating during the Yeezy Season 8 fashion show, Paris Fashion Week, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. It's one of the most unique designs yet. I understand how people say it looks like a cloud at the bottom. To me, it just looks like a nice little dumpling. And I love dumplings and
Yeah.
I love shoes. So this was kind of like the perfect mix.
Perfect, yeah.
This isn't a shoe that I particularly would know how to style or rock per se. I just really appreciate the innovation of it, right? I think like
Yeah.
when you look back at the 750, the 950, even and the 450, like there are certain silhouettes, in my opinion, that really like push the envelope, and I feel like this one did. It's not a shoe that I would particularly wear. It's not a shoe that I think would fit in with my style, but it's a shoe I appreciate from afar, and I would love to have this in my collection one day. I think it's a beautiful shoe. It just looks like a happy little dumpling.
Yeah, I actually didn't like it because I thought it looked like food until there was a fit from Ruiji, the guy who does Rude.
Yeah.
He did this fit. It
Oh,
was like
yeah.
a leather puffer with a pair of black sweatpants and then the 450s. I was like, wow, this looks really, really clean. I love this.
Yeah.
And also there's that fit that Kanye wore with like I think it was like a pair of leather trousers with like a white stripe and then the 450s. I thought that looked pretty good
Yeah.
as well. But yeah, the 450s, they're probably not like my top three, but I think from a design perspective, they're very interesting because you have that the top half, which is like the kind of knit upper with like I think that is a bit dated, right? This is what we had with like
Yeah.
350s, what we had with like Ultra Boost, released this like 4 years ago, what fit in. But then you have this really, really interesting, this kind of like cloth of a sole,
Right.
which I don't think I've seen it in any other shoes actually. And yeah, from a design perspective, I think it's an awesome shoe. Again, I don't know how I'd wear it aside from maybe like some wider trousers or like sweatpants, but
Yeah, it's a good like athleisure fit in my opinion.
for sure.
Sean, I have to go back to the digital librarian on the pod. You probably have seen a lot of fits with these shoes.
yeah.
What would you say is your favorite with the 450s?
Leather pants. They look so clean with leather pants and sweats.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Even those like pants that split like with zippers or anything. Those also look so sick on the foam runners.
I agree. I agree. And then we'll put up some pictures of the pod of the
For sure.
450s, some good fits on those. But yeah, one of my favorites. All right, guys. Corey, you're up next. Next Yeezy on the list. What do you have for us?
Yeah, so I have the same as Sean. It's a 700, which might be a bit surprising because I'm more of like a slimmer silhouette kind of guy. But to be fair, I don't really think many Yeezys look that good with like skinny jeans or skinny trousers.
Mm.
But I think the 700s from a design perspective are just they're just so sick. I mean, I think they're like the perfect dad shoe, and I feel like they're the culmination of everything Kanye was working at the time. Where they have the boost, they have this they have like this interesting they have like that suede material. Like they have this interesting mix of material. Like you have
Right.
suede, you have kind of like was it mesh, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, for best colorway, it has to go to the I think it has to go to the Wave Runners. I think the Wave Runners are the best colorway. I mean, they're the original, and I think to this day they're still the best. And I actually originally thought Wave Runner was the name of the shoe for the longest time.
I think a lot of people did.
Yeah, I also did.
I mean, for 700s, I actually have to rank it. I think for me, it goes probably V1, V2, and then V3 as like going from best to worst. Oh, and then Minivan is the worst. The MNVN. I think
those are
that good.
Yeah, those are not
weird. Those are weird. Those are unnecessary. But for 700s, some other colorways I like are the I think it's a newer color. It's the carbon blue.
Carbon blue is really nice. Yeah, that's a good one. Another one that's really nice too is the inertia is really good.
Yes, I was actually going to say the inertias. So I originally felt when I first saw those, I was like, these look weird, but I actually saw them in person because so in high school, I used to tutor math. So this girl I was tutoring, she wore them. And I was like, yo, these are actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to get it. I ended up buying a pair, but I did consider buying a pair because I was like, wow, these look really, really nice in person.
Yeah, they do. But we've also had some bad colorways of the 700s, man.
Totally.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Sean, what are your least favorites? At least for me, like the bright blue just doesn't really work for me.
Yeah.
I don't like the morph, the brown one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those either. Those are weird. They have like little like neon like dots.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I actually have when I did my questionnaire on my story, that was like submitted heavily. Like people like that shoe.
Really?
The brown colorway. Yeah.
I think they'd be cool without the neon, at least to me. Like the neon part just kind of ruins it for me. I don't know.
Sean,
it does.
Sean, before we get to your favorite Yeezy though, you did put a questionnaire on your story, the Thinkings. Like you asked people to reach out and say, their favorite Yeezys. Give us some insight on the responses. Like,
what was the number one? I'm curious.
Yeah, I want to know some of the stats behind that.
750s.
Okay.
And foam runners.
Really?
Interesting.
And 500s. Like those were the top three. Like those were the top three. Like I had like one person say 380, and like three people say, the dumplings. But that's kind of it. And I had no one actually say the Nike Yeezys, like at all.
Really?
No. Yeah. And I have a lot of replies.
That's interesting. I'm glad to see that the dumplings got some love, but I'm honestly not surprised about the what is it called? I'm blanking. What do you say? The 700s?
750s, right?
750s?
Yeah, 750s.
Not surprised by that. Not surprised at all. Did you get any responses that kind of surprised you though?
Turtle Dove.
Oh really? Okay,
yeah.
dude.
Why does that shoe get memed on though? It was iconic.
I don't like
time.
it.
No. So the thing with the Turtle Dove is I think what ruined it for a lot of people, including myself, was and actually I think this ruined some Yeezys as well. Is like basically at the time. So because of how hyped they were, like all these stores like Skechers and Walmart started doing basically their bootleg or their ripoff Turtle Dove, which had like kind of a shitty looking pattern, and I think that ruined it for a lot of people, including myself. And it kind of made the original look even cheaper. And personally, I think that of those original shoes, I think the Oxford Tans and the Moonrocks actually aged better than the Turtle Dove and the Pirate Black. Yeah.
Dude, I've seen so many bootlegs of the Turtle Doves.
Yeah, it's interesting how much that shoe. I was actually at Costco the other day, and this old lady, she was wearing a pair of bootleg Turtle Doves. Like, huh, damn.
Yeah, dude, I feel like the Turtle Doves is like so bootleg. Like when you go to the mall here in the States, there's like kiosks and they have like
Yeah,
fake
yeah.
turtles, but they like light up at the bottom.
Yeah. Oh, there's a video. It's like this guy. I'm not sure if you've seen the video. It's like this guy. He's like wearing them, and his friends are just fucking roasting the
Ragging
shit out
on
of him and
him, yeah.
laughing. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Sean, you're cream of the crop, bro. Your
Yeah,
favorite Yeezy shoe of all time.
I have to say though, about the fakes and stuff, there's a lot of Yeezy slide fakes here. I remember there was like
That's true, actually. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, over here we have a place that's like they do furniture and stuff, but then they also have like a clothing range, and they straight up, it was trending on Twitter over here, and they had the exact same color Yeezy slide. Those like light green ones. I don't follow them too much, but it was exactly the same, and someone found them in the store and it was trending on Twitter, and then they had to like take it down and everything.
H&M copied it too, didn't they? Or was it Zara? I don't remember which one, but like one of those brands copied it too, I think.
Yeah, Yeezy stuff, Kanye stuff has been like bootleg to hell. The 350s too, and we can get into that in a bit with some of our worst silhouettes, just to kind of give the audience a hint of what's to come. But no, man, like I agree. I haven't seen any fake slides, Sean, which is interesting that you say that. And those aren't cheap. The resale on the slides are not cheap right now.
Yeah,
it's pretty stupid.
So your favorite, Sean? What do you got for us?
Yeah, foam runners. Like if you follow my page, I post them too much. Actually, I haven't posted them recently, but I used to post them way too much. They are my favorite, the original colorway, and I'm really liking the like black pair with the like blue on it. I think that's really clean.
I like that kind of tie dye. I don't know the name, but it's like when I say tie dye, it's like a gray with like the white or like kind of cream highlight. If you know what I'm talking about, it like reminds me of a tie dye pattern. But yeah, I like that pair a lot. I saw a guy grocery shopping wearing it. I was like, damn, those are nice.
Do you have a pair of foam runners, Sean?
No, they like insanely expensive resale.
Yeah, and they retail for $75.
Yeah, isn't at one stage I think they were up like to $1,000 or something on resale.
Yeah, there's still pairs on StockX for like 800.
Yeah, they've dropped a little bit. They're like 700 800 depending on the size. But for a shoe, okay, because Sean and Corey, y'all have probably seen interviews, but Kanye specifically said these cost like $10 to make. I want to make sure
$8.
How much?
He wants
$8.
Yeah, he was like these literally cost nothing to make. Like
he wants everyone to have them.
He wants everyone to have them. It was with Joe Rogan, wasn't it?
I think
so.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
So for me, man, a shoe that's $8 to make sells for $75 retail, and is currently selling for $700. To me, it's just not worth it right now.
I agree.
The silhouette is crazy though. But Sean, I'm curious as to your perspective on that shoe when it initially came out, because I remember when it was first like released, like people were not on it, man. People were dogging the silhouette. It was called like the Bionicle shoe.
Yes, they look like a Bionicle mask.
They look like a Bionicle mask. So did you like gradually fall in love with the shoe, or was it something that from the rip you like knew that you wanted it?
Oh yeah, from the get-go. I love interesting shaped shoes, like all the time. Even when the 450s came out, love those instantly. The first time I saw them, loved them. But yeah, the foam runners just, for me, they just get better and better and better, and I just want them more and more.
Yeah, some of the colorways are interesting. Maybe not my cup of tea. The ones with like kind of like the splatters on them. I just want the OGs, man.
Yeah,
like, that is the best colorway. I mean, I've seen like those photos of the like all the Yeezy stuff on the floor, you know, that they take in Wyoming, the leak pictures and everything. I've seen like bright orange and all these crazy colors, but like they still look good.
Too.
Yeah.
The accessibility part for Kanye is interesting to me. Going back to like what he said on the podcast with Joe Rogan, he was like, you know, I think he was talking to his dad or something, and he's like, money doesn't mean anything. You know, he said something like that.
Says the guy worth $6 billion.
I know. He's like, yeah, money. He's like, money isn't worth anything. I want to make sure everybody can have these shoes, but they're just like not pumping out enough shoes. Like everybody wants these shoes. Like
the thing is, I don't think it's on Kanye. I feel like it's more on Adidas, right? Because I think it's because it's like Adidas. They want to like they want to milk the hype while they still can, and then when like that's done, when the tea is dry, I don't know why I use that metaphor. I'm sorry for anyone listening. That was disgusting. I'm sorry. When there's no when the hype is gone, then they'll start doing like mass releases and start making it available.
But I'm worried that this is gonna become that the foam runner will become like the 350. Obviously, I don't know. Maybe it's different because the colorways aren't the same, and they're not doing like really weird colorways. But I just hope it doesn't get to that point. Like to where like it was milked so much that it's like not looked upon.
Yeah,
well.
no, I definitely feel that. Going to what you said about like how it was a sneaker that cost $8 to produce, retail for 75, and then resells for like up to 1,000, right? I think that just goes on along the lines of not to talk about overhyped items, but I think it's why paying resale for sneakers, especially nowadays, it's not worth it. And there was I remember the first video I saw from Ken Ijima, right? Was a video that he was like, why I'm no longer buying sneakers.
Yeah, it was like why I sold all my sneakers.
That shit was cap. I know that man's still buying sneakers, but anyways, no disrespect. He seems like a cool guy.
I remember that video.
I really agree with those points that he made in that video. Like a lot of these sneakers nowadays, it's not worth buying them for resale. It's like, for example, and I really made that realization myself a long time ago so I have fragments, right? And I remember I stepped in dog shit with them. And I got home and I like cleaned them with the hose and everything. And that I had like an epiphany that day. I was like, yo, this hypebeast stuff is so stupid, because these shoes went from like a $4,000, $5,000 value, not that I paid that much, right? To whatever, because I just wore them. That's so stupid, right? And to be fair, I know this is not like a huge realization, but to be fair, I was like 16, 15. Okay, so I was not very smart back then. So but anyways. Yeah, I just want to say, like, I think the resale culture in sneakers is stupid. I think that like, and I'm not really sure what people can do to address that other than companies, actually releasing.
I think it's it's having conversations where you tell people, look, like financially, it might not be the best. Like if you have the financial means to go out and pay, where like the resale price in your financial situation is the same as paying the retail price, then sure, like cop what you can cop, but for like most working class people and for people listening to this pod, like it's hard to justify spending a lot of money on a shoe. Agree. And like T has come on here and he's like, the Dior Jordans.
He doesn't really want to pay resale.
Yeah, he's like, the Dior Jordans, are they worth it? He's like, well, no, it's just a shoe. Like at the end of the day, it's just a shoe. Yeah. And like what these shoes resell for can sometimes be a little bit over the top. And I don't know. I think it's just like a culture thing. And I hope that these shoes can restock, because I mean, I really want a pair of foam runners. I really do, man. Yeah. This is the type of shoe I wake up in the morning. It's a cool fall morning in New York. I throw on my fuzzy socks. I throw on my sweats. I need to go to the grocery store to pick up some stuff for breakfast, and I put on my foam runners, bro. You know what I mean?
They look really comfortable.
Yeah.
Sean, your favorite fit in these?
Man, all of them. They look good with everything.
You think so?
I would wear a suit and foam runners and go to work.
Oh my god.
They are.
That's a bold statement.
It's the best shoe of 2020.
Wow, you think so?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other 2020 releases. I don't know. I can't really think of much.
Wow. Why do you rate these so much, bro?
Man, it's just like perfect. And I like the fact that it's made out of algae.
Yes.
And then
they
grow it.
Yeah,
it's
I love
so
that. That's
sick.
Awesome.
I actually had no idea it was made out of algae.
Yeah.
That's
one of the big things that Kanye talked about when is that because they're made of algae, it's like this is something that's sustainable, It's not using
Yeah, it's like completely recyclable.
Yeah.
Like 100% of the shoe. It's insane.
I love that, man.
And I mean, for the resale price, they're about the same price as like a pair of Crocs. So I mean, like what Crocs is like $60, I think, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, actually.
But now people are jumping on Crocs because they can't get the foam runners.
Or those Merrell. There's the Merrell Hydro Mocs.
Yeah, I know. You hate Crocs?
Crocs are not good looking.
I've never liked Crocs, and I don't like those Hydro Mocs either.
You know what?
I had a pair of Crocs growing up.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that my dad has a pair of Crocs, but he only wears them like when he goes in the backyard to grill. and he has like the little giblets or whatever the fuck they're called, and
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
a little attack. You have the little the decorations,
and
the
he
little
has,
pins.
he has like a poop emoji, one that says dad, like a
Oh
little
my God.
and
Yeah,
so for my top Yeezy, it was actually between the foam runner, but I have to throw it. I have to throw it back to the 750. This shoe, 2013, man, just a different time. I was in high school. I was like, and when you ask me like, when I feel like I figured out my personal style, I wouldn't even say until like this past year is when I really felt like I'm comfortable in my own skin for one of the first times. But back then, especially back then, like in my fashion journey, I was still learning. I was still trying to like see what works, see what doesn't work. And this shoe was just like, oh my God, like I thought this shoe was so beautiful. Um, the zip, I remember when this came out, it was so controversial, man. I think it was Kanye first wore them to the Grammys. I don't know.
something like
But
that. Yeah,
it was a shoe that was controversial at the time, but it set the framework for what we have today. And although
Yeah.
I don't wear Yeezys, I can appreciate this silhouette from afar. It's one that I would love to have in the collection just to
Yeah.
have. It's not something I would particularly wear, but I just think it's such a beautiful shoe. So my top three are the 750s, the 950s, and then of course the dumplings, the 450s.
Yeah. There's
Um,
a sick picture with Kanye's whole like good music crew
mm,
rocking 750s. This was before Travis Scott was signed with Nike, so he was
yeah.
also in that group. But yeah, it was a Big Sean, Pusha T, 2 Chains,
Yeah.
and Travis Scott all wearing 750s. It's a sick picture.
Yeah.
Corey, your favorite Yeezy of all time?
So I'm going to actually go. I think this is a very popular pick, but I'm going to go with the Air Yeezy 2.
Mm,
Which is something that might be surprising, but for me, it was like I remember when I was in I'd be grade 8 or yeah, I think it was grade 8 or grade 7. I remember, um, so I first found out about like sneaker culture because I heard about people like liking Jordans. I was like, I don't really like these shoes except for like these ones. These are pretty cool, but the other ones
Yeah.
I don't really like them. And then I was like, I remember I found out like my favorite music artist was like signed to Nike. I was like, oh, I want a pair of his shoes. Now, keep in mind, I was like 13, so I didn't 12 or 13, so I didn't know the insane resale prices on Nike Yeezys. But I remember my uncle had like all 3 pairs of the Yeezy 2s, and I was like, wow, they're
Wait,
so
what?
cool.
What the
What?
fuck? Really?
Yeah, so
Were they fake?
okay, no, they're real. I want to dox my
What?
uncle, but he's
No, don't dox your uncle. Don't dox your uncle.
I actually like all 3 colorways. I would wear all 3, honestly. But I feel like the most iconic, it has to be the Red Octobers, right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
it's like, it's like these the Red Octobers. What black Tims all over your sofa. It's I don't know, like the Yeezy 2 to me, yeah, sure it's an athletic shoe, but look at the details on this. You have this like I don't even know how to go. There's like the Horus print on the tongue. There you have these like this kind of fish scale on the sides.
Right.
It's just this, I don't know, like it's just I don't even know how to explain it. I think it's also like a bit of sentimental / nostalgic value. Like for me, I would love to have all 3 pairs and just honestly put them in a glass case. Like
Yeah.
I would put them in a glass case. I would actually
yeah.
still wear like the pure platinums or the solar reds with some outfits. And I remember I think the one fit I really liked was it was a pair of Hyder Ackerman Perth joggers with the Red Octobers and like a white tee that he like rolled the sleeves up on with Kanye. I was like, wow, this is so sick. And I started doing the same thing. And actually, the Red Octobers I feel like were a huge thing in terms of sneaker culture, where like everyone wanted a pair of all red shoes. And to this day, there's people who still call like an all red shoe a Red October because of the Kanye shoe. And also with the Red October, it has this kind of history behind it where it was released after Kanye and Nike announced their departure.
Right.
So I think this is part of the reason why it became one of the most hyped, as well as the fact that, it was referenced in songs and such. And I remember like, I think the peak of the Red October, it sold for like 20K on eBay. And he references that in All Day. If you've, it's like 20K for the Yeezys off eBay.
Yeah.
I sound like such a nerd right now, but yeah. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's hard.
Okay.
It's weird because
it's the shoe that has this divine status in a collector's closet. I mean, that's just the way it is. The Red October is obviously the most expensive colorway, the most sought after colorway.
But the pure platinums and the solar reds are sick too. I love those. Also, it's weird that it's called the solar red when it's a black shoe.
Yeah.
I feel like because it's like basically it's the updated version of the Blink, which is the black pink colorway. Shout out the K-pop fans. Anyways, yeah, like there's the Blink colorway, and the solar red is basically the follow up to that, but with a with red instead of pink.
Right.
And I think the Yeezy ones are cool too, but it has to go the Yeezy 2. Yeezy 2s are Yeezy ones for me,
That's a good pick. It's an iconic shoe, one that obviously it's already in the history books, and it will continue to be in the history books for the future. Sean, your worst Yeezy of all time. Kanye can hit the mark 100% of the time, bro. All three of us know that. He hasn't hit 100% of the time. He's had some misses in his career, and that's okay. That's okay.
Jesus is king. No, I'm kidding.
Sean, your worst Yeezy of all time.
350s.
Don't do them like that.
Any 350. Like some of the colors are cool, but I never liked the shoe.
Really?
And if I had to choose the worst colorway, it's the McDonald's wrap Yeezy 350s.
But this was the 350 was your introduction to Yeezy. So when they first came out,
yeah,
did you like them?
You liked the shoe.
Man, I wasn't even like a Kanye fan back then.
Okay, I see. So you knew about the culture though, right?
Yeah. So I mean, like with the 350s and everything, it was big here, as I said, but I just never hopped on. I just never hopped on that trend.
Yeah, I don't know. I never hopped on the 350 trend either. But I think it's a shoe, and for full disclaimer, my worst Yeezy of all time is a 350. It's just a shoe that for me it was so burnt out, bro. And not only that, the silhouette. And correct me if y'all think this is true or not, but I feel like the silhouette you can't really wear it with a lot of things. You can really wear it with like skinny jeans and like skinny jeans and like sweats, and that's it.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Sean, do you ever post 350 fits on the thing?
Man, if someone tags me in a 350 fit, I'm blocking you.
Oh no.
That's tough. No, that's tough.
If you offer me $500 to post a 350 picture and put it everywhere on my social media, I will not do it.
Okay, but why? Why do you hate it so much?
Dude, I remember when people really liked the zebras. And
those are also bootleg to shit too.
Oh, yes, 100%.
I remember I had this friend a while back, and he was so proud that he had these zebras, and maybe this put me off, but he would always flex his zebras like, oh, I paid this and this much for this colorway and these 350s and everything, and I really hated that. And I just hated sock shoes. Like even when those Balenciagas came out. What are they called? The speed trainers. Speed trainers. Yeah, track runners are the other bad shoe. Oh yeah. I hated those, and they were so big here as well.
Yeah, I actually used to want a pair because I saw if you guys know who G-Dragon is, he's a very famous K-pop star. There's a thing he had with them with like sweats, and I thought they looked sick, but never seen them. I never really liked them after that. Also, the Balenciaga speed trainers, they have like a bunch of issues with like the text rubbing off. Like I heard a story of like some guy who tried them on, the text literally rubbed off while he was trying them in like Nordstrom or something like that, which is like absolutely wild.
I actually met up with this guy, and one of his friends had a pair on, and I was checking them out, and I rubbed the B, and it just came off like instantly.
Yeah, there was like,
and he was so mad.
Like,
and he thought they were fake.
Yeah, sorry. What people would do with like authentic ones too. I'm sure they did with fake ones, right? But like I know what some people did with like their authentic pairs. I remember people posted something like Balenciaga Facebook group. They would get this like I forget what it's called, but it was like some kind of craft glue from like Michaels or whatever, right? And they would like have to apply it to their $900 shoe to prevent the text from falling off, and that's horseshit.
Yeah, So when you rubbed it, Sean, and that was a real pair?
I don't know. I think it might have been fake, but this was so long ago when they were hyped and people were like paying resale and everything for them.
Right.
But I remember I leaned down, I was checking out the shoes. I'm like, because they weren't cheap. Yeah. So I wanted to I was like, yo, bro, can I feel your shoes? I want to see like this is good quality or whatever. And I remember I wanted to feel the text, like if it was like embroidered or what or anything. And then I remember I went over the B with my thumb once. and it just went. It was just wasn't there.
Oh my
It was
god,
just gone.
That's terrible.
No,
That's
awful.
terrible. Okay, so an honorable mention for me for the worst Yeezy, probably the Air Yeezy 1. I think that shoe looks nasty. I don't
It
want.
is not aged well. It
has not aged well, and then also like the Air Force One Low Yeezy, the foam posit, those are all the gross. Like, to be honest
Which
with
one?
you, the Nike Air Force One Low Yeezy, it's the colorway of the Solar Reds, but on an Air Force One, it looks nasty.
Oh, I've never seen it, but yeah.
Didn't-
Go ahead, Sean.
Didn't those Air Yeezy ones sell recently that he wore at the Grammys,
Yeah,
if I'm
you
not
were the
mistaken,
one.
for like
Yeah,
$1.8 million or something?
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah. It was the highest, most expensive
Yeah.
sneaker ever sold, I believe.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Insane.
So
To be fair, that has like kind of like it. I feel like that's a little bit more understandable because it's like it was actually worn by him, and I think they're signed as well. But yeah,
none of
Yeah.
the Nike. I mean, I know the Red Octobers are iconic, but I really don't like the Nike Yeezy shoes, to be honest. So it's just not my cup of tea. But wrapping in on some pretty good time here, guys. Corey, briefly,
Worst Yeezy?
your worst Yeezy.
Ooh, that's a hard pick. I have
And you know what? It's okay if you say the 350. It's okay.
from a pure design perspective, it has to be the Calabasas Power Phase because they're not even all he did was he took a classic Adidas trainer and just added Calabasas to it, but I'm not gonna count those because I don't even really count those as a Yeezy.
Yeah.
I have to go with 380 or 350. Sorry, not 380s. 350s again.
Yeah. So we're all in consensus here with the 350.
Yeah, I will admit
Yeah.
though, I actually do like the Beluga V2, the original Beluga 350 V2 a lot. I really like those. I think those are actually, if I'm not mistaken, the orange stripe and gray colorway are actually a callback to the Yeezus cover art, from my understanding.
Yeah.
I really like those, especially back then. I would probably, I don't know if I'd still wear them to this day, but I'd probably still like just kind of have them to have them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I think for the worst colorway, I think it has to be a tie between the frozen yellow. I think it's called like the Ye Cheel colorway. It's like this weird black, and then has like this fucking weird like red or pink knitted in with like some white. It looks like, I don't know. It looks like you barfed out. It looks like you ate licorice and you just vomited it all out because you had like a stomach.
The
flu or something.
V2 glows are pretty bad. Any of the like the highlighter colors are just bad.
Yeah. I mean, I like the fact that he did a bunch of neutral colors, but he did them way too late because I feel like if he did those neutral colors when the V2s were still like when they first came out, first drop, it would have been like a perfect transition from like the V1s to the V2s. So you had like Moon Rocks, Oxford Tans,
Right.
and then transition to like this blacked out. You had transition into this like, I forget what the other colors are called, but like the ones that are like a beige or like neutral colors. But yeah.
No, for sure. Yeah, but I agree with that. So we're in consensus. The worst Yeezy of all time is the 350.
I mean, it's not even because the design is bad. I think it's more, at least from my opinion, I think it's more just the fact that like it's just been done to death. I mean, if I see one more person wear minimal ripped jeans with V2s or V1s and like a Supreme BOGO or a Gucci tee, I think I'm just going to have to delete the app completely off my phone. I'll just delete Instagram. I'll become a hermit and live in the woods.
It's a silhouette it's a shoe that's been done to death, like you said.
Yeah.
And in our opinion is the worst Yeezy of all time. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Guys, it's been a fun time jumping in on the pod talking about Yeezy. We'll throw it over to Sean. Sean, any closing remarks? Anything you'd like to plug? Any hopes for Yeezy Gap in the future? Just tell me what you're thinking about right now.
Make foam runners like $30, like he said he would. That's what I want. I want that to happen soon because, man, it's just the best.
Yeah,
we need everyone needs a pair, and clothing wise, hoodies and cargos or something. That's what I expect him to drop.
Yeah, we'll keep a close eye on what he does, and I'm excited to see what he does with Gap. And I agree, make the foam runner accessible to everybody. It's such an interesting shoe, dude. And I want him to fulfill his promise. Corey, anything that you want to plug before we get out of here?
I have nothing to plug, but in regards to Yeezy Gap, I kind of want to see those hoodies come out. Just because I already own too much clothing, to be honest. But I'm just excited to see the full extent of clothing. I'd like to see. I don't know if maybe it does a pair of trousers or denim, but that'd be cool too. But yeah, I guess follow the Selective, follow the thinkings. Thank you for listening, and yeah, that's all I have to say.
Guys, from me, for Corey, and for Sean, we say thank you so much for listening to this episode. We have an interview episode lined up for next week. We just wanted to do something fun this week, ranking our favorite Yeezys. And of course, if you disagree with our list, leave them down in the comments below on YouTube or let us know on Instagram. Everyone's opinion is important. So, let us
I
know.
want to hear everyone's opinions.
Yeah, let us know.
I'm very curious.
Let us know what y'all think about our selections, if you agree or if you don't agree. Keep it locked in on the Selective, of course, on Instagram. New drops coming soon, and of course, original editorial content on the site as well for you to enjoy. Guys, thank you all so much for listening to the pod, and we'll see you next week.